Monster Jokes and Riddles by Norman Bridwell. Why do vampires make good friends? They will always go to bat for you. Who is a vampire's favorite composer? Beethoven. What happened when the vampire started writing poetry? Things went from bat to verse. What birthday present did the rich vampire give his son, who was a racing car nut? A sports coffin. What sort of entertainment do vampires enjoy most? Something in the jugular vein. What holiday do vampires give thanks for so many good meals? Thanksgiving. If a vampire wants to stay warm in the woods, what does he do? He builds a vamp fire. If you cross a werewolf with a vampire, what would you get? A fur collar that fastens itself to your neck, or a Transylvania count that chases cats. What sort of beans do werewolves like? Human beans. What would be a choice lunchbox item for a werewolf? A midget humming Moonlight Sonata. Did everyone like the werewolf's party? Yes, it was a howling success. What do you call a dentist that offers to clean a werewolf's teeth? Crazy, man. Crazy. What's the difference between a little car ride on the beach and a small werewolf? One's a dune buggy and the other's a moon doggy. Why would a werewolf walking on the beach remind you of Christmas? He would have Sandy Claus. What does a werewolf put on before he goes to the beach? Moontan lotion. What is the werewolf's favorite hot weather drink? Ghoul-Aid. What did the werewolf say when he found a young prince in his soup? Waiter, there's an air in my soup. What did the werewolf do to help his country in time of war? He joined the Hair Force. What did the werewolf call the coonskin cap? Sweetheart. Why do Frankenstein's monsters like jokes? Because jokes keep them in stitches. What did the Frankenstein's monster do on Mother's Day? He sent a dozen of roses to the electric company. What did the Frankenstein's monster say when he ran out of electricity? AC come, AC go. If you buy a brand new monster and keep him for 16 years, what should you do? Give him a Shriek 16 party. What did Dr. Frankenstein say when his monster wasn't feeling well? He must have been bitten by a lightning bug. Why didn't the monster go to college? His extension cord was too short. What did the Frankenstein's monster do when the master of ceremonies in the show said, "Give the little girl a big hand"? He gave the little girl a big hand. What did he do when he heard Thomas Rickety was running for mayor? He went to the polls to elect his vote to elect Rickety. Why is Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory like certain rooms at school? It's an assembly hall. What happened when the Frankenstein's monster asked the girl monster for her hand in marriage? That was all he got. What happened when she refused to see him again? It broke whomsoever heart it was he had. Did you hear about the mummy who got a job in the post office? He works in the dead letter office. Said one mummy to the other, "You know that big statue of the crouching lion with the human head that stands near the pyramids? Well, its nose is broken off." "Really?" asked the other. "Then how does it smell?" "Smell!" exclaimed the first mummy. "It stinks." What did the two mummy gossips say about the other mummy? "He's all wrapped up in his work." What kind of girl mummies do boy mummies like? The ones that are all in ribbons. If several mummies held a meeting and then got into a fight, what would you call it? A quiet riot. What did the mummy say when he saw Grant's tomb? "It's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there." If you ask a mummy for change for a quarter and he gives you 2 dimes in return, what has he done? Egypt you. If a mummy band was playing out of tune, what would you do? Give the players some band-aids. What did the Pharaoh say when he saw a lot of boll weevil bugs from the cotton fields stealing a mummy? Mummy is the loot of all weevils. If American success story is called From Rags to Riches, what is an Egyptian's king story called? From Riches to Rags. What did the people say about the girl who married an old Egyptian king? She's only after his mummy. Why do vampires like good-natured people? They can never stand a cross word from anyone. Who is faster than a silver bullet, stronger than a night train to Budapest, and able to leap over blood banks at a single bound? Super vampire. Why did the vampire join the Navy? Because he always wanted to sail on a battleship. What sort of boats do vampires prefer? Blood vessels. Did you hear about the vampire that tried to gain weight by eating a lot? His feeding was all in vain. If you ask a vampire if he wants something to eat, what might he say? No thanks, I just ate next door. What do you do if you cross a werewolf with a vampire? You get a mad dog that chases airplanes. What does a lady werewolf do before she goes out on a date? She powders her nose with sweet flea powder and gives herself a manet claw. Does she wear perfume? Yes, just a dab of Kennel number 5 behind her ear. How about flowers? She wears a small corsage of wolfbane. Why does she do all that? She wants to look her beast for the wolfman. When do they go out together? When the moon is full and they aren't. What do? They just drive around looking for people. What kind of car does a wolfman drive? A nice little Volkswagen. Where does he keep it? In a parking lot. Why does he drive a Volkswagen? To chase Cadillacs. Why couldn't the wolfman go to college? Because he flunked out of night school. He was moonlighting. Do werewolves make good football players? Yes, they're good at red dogging quarterbacks and reaching the goal line. Why do Frankenstein's monsters make good gardeners? They have a green thumb, also a green hand, a green wrist, green arms. What flowers do they like to grow? Marigolds, morning glories, shriek peas, and sunflowers. What happened to all the things the monster planted? They grew some. What happened when the Frankenstein's monster met a girl monster? It was love at first fright. Why did they decide to go steady? They're both electric fans, so they decided to go around together. What did the monster call his girlfriend? My fair lady. When the Frankenstein's monster joined the dramatic club, why were the other members upset? He had all the best parts. The mad doctor had given them to him. What song did the monsters sing when they formed a barbershop quartet? Down by the old mill stream. If mummies could eat, what breakfast cereal would they like? Shrouded wheat. What sort of music do mummies like? They like ragtime and waltz time. If two mummies played tennis, would it be a close match? Yes, they would be tied in every game, really in a bind. Why is a girl choking on lemonade like a mummy? They both have a sore cough, I guess. What do you call a race between two vampire bats who are after the same person? A neck-and-neck race that ends in a necktie. Why do vampires have poor health? Because even when they're well, they're in grave condition. If a vampire managed to see himself in a mirror, what would it be? It would be a miracle. What do vampires hate for breakfast?
They hate steaks at sunrise. It gives them heartburn. If a group of vampires had a fight, what would you call it? A bat spat. Why do vampires hate to watch the adventures of Batman? Because he gives bats a good name. When vampires stop to relax around 4 a.m., what do you call it? They take a coffin break. What is the first thing Count Dracula wanted to see when he visited New York City? The Vampire State Building. Did you know they have invented an electric vampire? He runs on batteries. Was the monster upset when his neck bolts came loose? Yes, indeed. He lost his head. Why didn't the Frankenstein's monster win the Mr. America contest? He had too many imported parts. If a vampire, a mummy, and a werewolf ate a dainty breakfast together, what would they eat? Nectarines, mummy-fried eggs, and lady fingers. What would you have if you crossed a Frankenstein's monster with a werewolf? An electric fur coat, or a pinball machine that bites? What would you have if you crossed a mummy with a vampire? Either a flying band-aid or a gift-wrapped bat.